Hey guys, welcome back to the Neo Nerds YouTube channel, and in this video we'll be reviewing Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I'll be giving my thoughts on the movie, and the video will contain spoilers, but for the first couple of minutes I will give my general thoughts, and so if you haven't seen the movie you can watch up to there, and then after that come back after watching the movie. So my initial thoughts of the movie is that it is a very emotional tale that honors Chadwick Boseman's legacy really well, whilst also being a self-containing story within itself, and it links more to the MCU than some of the other MCU Phase 4 projects. In terms of runtime, the film is 2 hours and 45 minutes, but the film doesn't feel like it. The runtime is perfect for the film. Everything, there's no scenes where you lose attention or anything. Everything is gripping and it's entertaining to watch. So from now on there will be spoilers, so come back after you've watched the movie. So let's start off by discussing the obvious elephant in the room, Chadwick Boseman's untimely passing. How does the film deal with that? It deals with it in a respectful manner that is both respectful for his character and for Chadwick Boseman himself. In the movie, T'Challa dies of an unknown disease that Shuri tries to cure at the start of the movie, and she couldn't find the cure in time and he passes. But then later on she finds the cure and it's very emotional. And every time completely forget about Chadwick Boseman's or T'Challa's passing, the movie reminds you of it and brings you back and makes it really emotional. One example is when, after Namor attacks Wakanda and Queen Ramonda dies, Shuri's sort of going through this stage of trying to figure out how to become Black Panther, and this stage of vengeance consuming her. And we see her trying to create the heart-shaped herb, because in Black Panther 1 we see Killmonger set fire to all of them to ensure that no one can kill him. But then in this movie we see Shuri recreate the heart-shaped herb. Speaking of Killmonger, we do see a surprise cameo from Michael B. Jordan when Shuri first ingests the heart-shaped herb, and she sees him in the ancestral plane, and he sort of tells her to be more aggressive, and she sort of agrees, and she goes to go and kill Namor, and right as she's about to kill Namor, she sort of sees Queen Ramonda in the ancestral plane, and she lets Namor live. This is very reminiscent of T'Challa in Civil War, where he spares Baron Zemo's life, and they even quote the line that he says in Civil War.
Vengeance has consumed you. It's consuming them. I'm done letting it consume me.
Speaking of surprising cameos, there was a cameo from Val, who we last saw in The Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it's really funny because she's in the story and she isn't there to really recruit anyone. She's sort of there more as just like the government villain that there always has to be for some reason in Phase 4 Marvel movies. And it turns out she is was married to Everett Ross, which is kind of weird. Ryan Coogler did such a good job with the world building, which is one of the plus sides of Black Panther as well, is the way he presented Wakanda in the first movie, and in this the way he presents Talokan. There's this really cool scene where Shuri gets a tour of Talokan, and it's honestly one of the most visually stunning scenes in Phase 4, despite obviously there being Multiverse of Madness with the multiverse travel scene. But after that, I would say this was one of the visually stunning scenes. Then in terms of character-wise, Shuri was great. She went through a lot of development throughout the movie, because in Black Panther she was sort of just the younger sister, like the really smart younger sister of T'Challa. But in this movie, we see her mature, going from starting the movie as sort of this grieving sister to then becoming the princess, and then a princess consumed with vengeance after Namor kills her mother. And after that, we end up with a sort of matured version of Shuri that sort of reminds us of T'Challa and his merciness that we saw in Civil War and in Black Panther. Queen Ramonda is also a very gripping character. She's sort of really protective of Shuri because she doesn't want to lose the last remaining person of her family. And so every time in the movie, she's sort of holding Shuri back from doing the stuff, which Angela Bassett plays to perfection. And especially the scene where she fires Okoye, she has the emotional speech where she's like,
Queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone.
I do have one small gripe, is that M'Baku in this movie, for at least the first half of the movie, until Queen Ramonda dies, pretty much he was simply there as comic relief. But then after that, he sort of has a bigger role, and I wished he would have a bigger role throughout the movie, like he did in Black Panther, where he had a mix of comic relief and an important role as sort of the challenger to the throne. However, at the end, we do see him challenging for the throne, which I do quite like because M'Baku is a very good character. Another underutilized character in this movie is Okoye, because in the first one, she had much more of a bigger role. In this, she has a role at the start, and then she gets stripped of her authority over the Dora Milaje, and then she gets her own suit made by Shuri later on, and that's sort of it that happens to her. Meanwhile, in the first movie, she sort of was there from the beginning till the end, and we see her go through the development of choosing the throne and the right person on the throne over her love, which is kind of what made Okoye in Black Panther, but in this we sort of miss out on that. Namor in this movie is very good as well. He is one of the biggest character in this movie. He sort of mirrors Killmonger in the sense that he's consumed by vengeance over what people did to his ancestors, which is completely justified, but just his approach to tackling that problem is wrong. However, one thing I wish that I did see in this movie, which we did see in Black Panther 1, was where T'Challa kind of honors Killmonger's wish of helping out the people of color in America. Similarly, I wished we could see Shuri sort of help out Riri Williams. So Ironheart is very good as well. It just gave us a good introduction to the character, and I'm looking forward to seeing her in her own show in Ironheart and in Armor Wars. And it's sort of Shuri was sort of have a sibling bond. We can see it in when they do a similar handshake to how T'Challa and Shuri, when they first met in Black Panther. There is only one end credit scene in this movie, which is right after the first credits, and in this we see Shuri meeting her nephew, who also is called T'Challa, and it's a nice way of passing on the legacy without having to recast T'Challa himself, whilst also still having T'Challa present in the MCU. So after the movie, my initial thoughts is that this movie is sort of an 8.5 out of 10. I personally thought the first one was more of a 9 out of 10. This one just slightly missed here and there, but was still better than majority of the movies in Phase 4, so I'm not completely disappointed coming out of this movie. Speaking of Phase 4, here is my ranking of the Phase 4 movies from last to best. So in final place, we have Black Widow, then we have Falcon and Winter Soldier, then Eternals, then What If, then Thor Love and Thunder, then Miss Marvel, then She-Hulk, then Hawkeye, then WandaVision, then Moon Knight, then Black Panther, then Multiverse of Madness, and then Loki, and the top 2 is Shang-Chi and Spider-Man No Way Home. Let me know in the comments down below what your rankings are, and also if you want me to make a video explaining why I rank these where they are. Well, thank you for watching this video. Also, do let me know in the comments any videos you want me to make. I will try and see if I can make those. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah.